It's time now for Futures in Focus. Oil fluctuating today. And that's no change from what we've been seeing over the last several weeks. Let's bring in Ted Seifert of Zaner Ag Hedge. He's at the CME. Brent, as we were looking at, Ted is at 62.70. WTI 54.57. What's going on today with oil futures?
Well, like you said, Vonnie, it's been a fairly quiet day for crude oil, and it's been a fairly quiet week for crude oil. We seem to be kind of topping out here after this nice bounce that we've had off of lows. We're watching Venezuela very closely. We noticed overnight that there is a number of tankers sitting off the Gulf that are from Venezuela. So, if something happens and there is a change in government, there might be a pretty significant flood, at least up front, of Venezuela coming into the Gulf. That could be a negative factor. Again, we're watching that situation very closely. For the most part, we've had that nice bounce off of lows. I kind of wonder if we're in a territory where we could see sort of a back and fill correction and move down lower. But the funds are the least long that they have been basically in the last 2 years. So I think there's a lot of room for them to come in and buy if they see value and they see something technical on a chart that says it's a good time to buy. So I'm wondering if crude oil backs up, has a bit of a correction, maybe we get down to, say, the 48.40 level or so in WTI, and then we see a bounce from there and possibly take out the highs and eventually get into the mid-60s. So I'm looking for a back and fill, a buying opportunity, and then back up into the mid-60s for WTI.
Those are pretty big moves, Ted. I mean, this will all depend on the dollar as well, right? Right now, the dollar index is back above 96, so we've seen quite a bit of movement with the US dollar as well. What's your, forecast for the dollar?
Yes, so that's a great question, Vonnie, that plays in very well. And the reason for that is because, I think we're going to get a deal with China, but I think that happens sort of 11th hour at the very end of the month. That gives us a few weeks here where we could see some bigger movement as we start to get some positioning before that. Overall, though, the dollar looks really very good on a chart to me. We've tried to break to the downside twice in the last month since we put in the December highs. We've been unsuccessful in doing so. We've been higher 7 days in a row. Eventually, we're going to make new highs, but we could wait for that trade deal.